Have you ever counted how many times you texted first? Like, actually scrolled back through the chat and realized it's always you. You plan the hangouts. You send the thinking of you messages. You remember the little things. And the other person? They just show up. When it's convenient. If that made your stomach drop a little, stay with me. Because today we're talking about the psychology of one-sided friendships. Why we end up in them. Why we stay way longer than we should, and what psychology says actually helps. Let's get into it. The effort-reward imbalance. Psychologists have a term for this. It's called an equity imbalance. In healthy relationships, both people invest roughly equal effort and get roughly equal emotional reward back. It doesn't have to be perfectly 50-50, but it should feel balanced over time. In a one-sided friendship, that balance breaks. One person becomes the constant giver, planning the hangouts, checking in, offering support. The other becomes a passive receiver, showing up only when it's easy. Here's a scene you might relate to. Imagine you just got some big news, maybe a promotion, maybe a breakup. Your first instinct is to text your friend Maya. You wait. 2 hours pass. Then a full day goes by. Finally, a reply. OMG, that's crazy, congrats. No follow-up questions. No, let's celebrate this weekend. Meanwhile, when Maya went through something big last month, you cleared your entire evening just to be there for her. That gap, that quiet, uncomfortable gap, is the effort-reward imbalance in action. And your brain notices it, even when you try to brush it off and tell yourself it's not a big deal. Why we stay anyway, the sunk cost trap. Here's where it gets interesting. Even when we notice the imbalance, most of us don't leave. Why? Because of something psychologists call the sunk cost fallacy, the same mental trick that keeps people watching a bad movie until the very end, just because they've already invested an hour. With friendships, the thought sounds like this. We've been friends for 10 years. I can't just walk away now. So we keep giving. We keep hoping the investment will eventually pay off, even when every recent signal says otherwise. Attachment styles play a huge role. This one explains a lot. If you have an anxious attachment style, you're more likely to overgive in friendships because closeness feels like safety and distance feels like danger. So you keep reaching out, not out of weakness, but because it genuinely reduces your anxiety in the moment. On the flip side, people with avoidant tendencies often become the low-effort friend without even meaning to. Emotional closeness feels overwhelming to them, so they pull back, not necessarily because they don't care, but because closeness itself feels like pressure. The comparison trap. Quick scene for you. You're scrolling through Instagram, and you see your friend at a dinner party, laughing, present, fully engaged with other people. She looks genuinely happy. But when you two hang out, she's half on her phone the entire time. And your brain does this uncomfortable bit of math. She clearly has energy for them. Just not for me. That comparison spiral feels awful, but here's the reframe. It's not actually a measurement of your worth. It's a signal of mismatched priorities. And those are two very different things. What psychology says you should actually do. Okay, here's the part you've been waiting for. Because noticing the problem isn't enough, right? We need something to actually do. Psychologists often suggest something called the 2-week experiment. Simply stop initiating for 2 weeks. Not out of spite, not as a manipulation tactic, just as an honest observation. Does the friendship survive on its own? Does the other person reach out, make plans, check in? This isn't a test to punish anyone. It's information. It tells you, clearly and quietly, whether the connection is genuinely mutual, or whether you've been the one carrying it this whole time. And if the silence during those 2 weeks tells you everything, that's okay too. That's not failure. That's clarity. And clarity is what lets you redirect your energy toward the people who do show up for you. So here's the honest truth. One-sided friendships aren't always about bad people. Sometimes it's mismatched attachment styles. Sometimes it's mismatched life stages. Sometimes people are just going through something and don't have the capacity right now. But understanding why it happens doesn't mean you have to keep accepting it. Recognizing the pattern is the first step to protecting your own energy and choosing relationships where the effort actually flows both ways.